Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. James Smith Jr., and welcome back to another episode of the Dr. James Show. And welcome into Women's History Month. Yes, it is March 1st, and we are thrilled, honored, and blessed to have our guest for today. Our guest is Cecily Wilson. Cecily is CEO of the WOW Legacy Group. She's a speaker, a TEDx speaker as well. She's an author, philanthropist, TV personality, and former broadcast news anchor. What a treat to begin this historic month with an historic figure, Cecily Wilson. Welcome back to the Dr. James Show.
Let's get this party started.
Let's get the party started. I love it. I love it. It is great to see you. What's been going on in the life of Cecily Wilson since you were on the Dr. James Show? And that was over a year ago. The book, the TEDx, just everything you've been doing. What's been happening? Give us a snapshot.
I would probably say not a whole lot, there's not really a lot going on here, but I will have to say that, I've received an award from United Way, a Changemaker Award here in the Orlando area. The Orlando Business Journal has recognized me as a nominee of Women Who Mean Business. I am about to be a mother-in-law, so my name is changing. Allow me to reintroduce myself.
I love it.
And just doing great things with changing the lives of women here in the Orlando and Central Florida community. So not a whole lot.
Stay busy. And going back to that, she said the P word book, are people still talking to you about how much they have fallen in love with the words, the P words that you shared with them, sharing your story?
Yeah, I am, and I'm so thrilled and honored that it's still going strong. I was just attending a speaking engagement 2 days ago and sold books after just that time, and I'm really excited about that because what that tells me is my story resonates with other people, and it allows me to it's allowing them to see themselves in my story, and that's the whole point of it. And so, yeah, I'm so glad that we are all still taking a pee.
And your story is amazing. And I think it falls right into history making. And this month is Women's History. Now, the first question I want to ask you, Cess, I want you to imagine you're 80, 90 years old. You're sitting at home, chilling, drinking your iced tea, whatever. And you're having a moment where you're reflecting on your life, and you're reflecting primarily on the contributions that women have made to society. What's going through your mind? Are you thinking we still have more work to do? Are you thinking, wow, we've come a long way? Are you thinking one day, someday, eventually we'll be equal? What's going through your mind?
I'm hoping the latter, that one day, someday, we will be equal, but I still feel that we have a long way to go. We're making strides, which is good, because this is the year of the woman, I like to say, right? We've been here, we've been dope a long time. But I think now they're starting to realize just how dope we are, right?
Well, women being so dope, what's still slowing the growth, the evolution of women getting to that place of equity and equality? What do you think is still in the way, slowing the progress down?
I think it's the fact that they're still not valuing what we bring to the table. They see all of the amazing things that we're doing and our skills and capabilities and what we bring to the table. But I think and I hate to say for men, unfortunately, we're starting to just realize that I don't know if they feel like it is a competitive thing, or that our place is still not in the boardroom, or what that looks like. but we've shattered these glass ceilings. And I mean, I think even, just recently with our new vice president, Kamala, right? This wasn't a historic moment to have her set this. And so Hillary cracked it open. He cracked it and sent Kamala with her stilettos or whatever she wanted to wear, literally knocked it out the freaking park, right?
Let's stay there. Let's stay there. How did you feel?
Oh my gosh.
When
I get chills. I literally right now, I have chills. I'm not kidding. Chills on my arms when I see this picture for two reasons.
Yeah.
Because it says one, a woman is now in a leadership position of the free world. Two, that woman looks like me. I love it. To see that really says volumes, because we're still balancing that level of respect and equity and diversity for women of color. So I'm wearing I like to call it my Stacey Abrams blue, right?
I love it. I love it.
I'm wearing my Stacey Abrams blue because she was another woman, despite what people said. Oh, in all of her magnificentness, she did things that could not be done, especially in the state of Georgia, my home state, right? So when I see this woman and women like First Vice President Kamala Harris, it just makes me smile. And I'm like, okay, come on, we're getting closer. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer.
We are getting closer. How much pressure is on Vice President Harris? And I asked that because
you don't need to ask that question because you already know the answer to that question.
No, but listen to this. In our society, when minorities fail, they fail as a group. When they succeed as individuals. When majority members fail, they fail as individuals and they succeed as a group. Well, if we have a poor president, no one's going to say, we're never going to have a man. I tell you, men cannot run the world. They would say he was a bad president. Something tells me if people believe Vice President Harris isn't doing a good job, they might say women can't be vice president.
Yeah, it's not only will it say women can't be vice president, Black women can't be vice president. So it's a double-edged sword in my eyes that we see it that way. And as you mentioned, that's not the case for others. It's just not the case. And so I know that she's under a lot of pressure, just like President Obama was under a lot of pressure. I mean, I just remember how ridiculous it was when he wore a freaking tan suit. Like, really? You were all up in arms because he has a tan suit, which again, he looked pretty darn fly in it, but but it was an amazing display of stupidity, if you will, that we're talking about a tan suit, regardless of his academic excellence, regardless of his ability to do regardless that he's sitting in the leadership position. You're talking about a tan suit. You're talking about the first lady who bared her arms, and now, it's a great thing. I'm like, okay, I just don't understand it when it relates to women, and and for me, because if you didn't know, I'm a Black woman, beautiful Black woman.
A very humble, beautiful Black woman.
But it's just that moment when we realize that we have to fight 100 times harder to just prove our worth. And that's why I say we still have a long way to go. Hopefully it will happen, but I know that we still have a long way to go.
Yes, we do. You mentioned Vice President Harris earlier. Let's go back to January of 2020. It was cold outside. And this young lady, beautiful Black lady, came to the podium and she started sharing.
Oh, I got chills again. I got chills again.
Her poem about the hill we climb. Tell us about, where were you? How did you feel then? And how do you feel now?
Yeah, it was like a proud auntie moment for me. I was sitting glued right in front of my TV screen as
Mm,
I'm watching this beautiful young girl who reminds me of my niece and my daughter, and how eloquent she was and how confident she stood there. And I got chills and I cried just
mm,
to hear her and her words. Oh my gosh. I mean, the poem itself was just amazing. And it's, as you can tell, she's gone on to grace the cover. I want to say it was Vogue, but she's been on the cover of nationwide magazines and
mhm.
just doing amazing things, and winning a Pulitzer, I believe. So she's done amazing things. That just goes to show the level of power, creativity, and excellence that a little Black girl magic can do.
Since you talk about Black girl magic, I know you have two daughters. Tell us about what you've told them in raising them to be the women they are and the women they're going to be. And as you're considering what you're going to say, take a look at this shot that was taken a few years ago, maybe 9. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pour into us what you pour into them when as they grew up in terms of their role as a Black woman in our society.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite pictures of my babies. Chrissy on the right side, the older one, and Nicole on the left side. Nicole is my future Howard grad. She's graduating from Howard University
Yes,
in
yes, yes.
May, Mother's Day weekend, and Chrissy is about to be get her MRS degree. So
Ooh.
so she is getting married very soon. And so what I've told them each and every day, that we don't do excuses.
Ooh.
Don't give me excuses. Make it happen by any means necessary, right? I've also told them that you are enough. You
Ooh.
are more than enough. And so I will not accept anything less than what enough is, right? I've also told them that I'm always your best and fiercest advocate.
Mm, mm,
You already know that don't come
mm.
for my babies, because I will come for you.
I love it. I love it. With regard to your journey from school to college to broadcast journalists to life in general, any challenges along the way? Oh, let me stop there. I know there's been challenges because I have a brief excerpt to share with the audience about you sharing a little bit of one of your challenges and how you dealt with it. So let's
Okay.
take a look at you on the TEDx stage talking about a P word.
What's happening? I didn't think I could take much more. Shortly after the divorce, my career ended. My contract wasn't renewed. This was a bad, bad dream, and I was just hoping that I would suddenly wake up and it would all be over. But it wasn't. My home was facing foreclosure. My life had fallen completely apart. Now, I know I'm not the only one standing here whose life has fallen apart. It may be falling apart just as we speak. But there's a P word that plays a major role in adversity. And although there is a negative connotation to this word, there's also a positive. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is P-A to the I-N. Pain. Pain. It's a powerful, powerful feeling if you don't shift your perspective. And I have a personal, deeply personal relationship with pain. Are there any divorcees in the house? Great. Then you can relate to this. You know that final moment is coming, but you're never fully prepared for when it arrives, here's what I mean. The moment the movers arrived at my home to divide our marital possessions, that thing hit me like a tsunami, delivering a wave of devastation and destruction in my life. I was gasping for breath. That's when I leaned on the power of prayer to carry me through one of the darkest moments of my life.
Talk to us about that time, but particularly how you use prayer and perseverance and other P words to help you as a woman in today's society.
Yeah, well, it's my center. It's my center. Prayer is the one constant that I use consistently when life is upside down, twisty turvy, all of that stuff, right? Prayer is that one thing. And it's the one thing that I've also told my daughters. They are centered with that prayer is also when things get tough for them, because I know that it is, and it will continue to do that. But there's always a center. Not only do you always have mommy, but and for us, it's the Lord Jesus Christ that we believe in. And so there, whatever higher power someone else believes in. But for us, for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. And that is what I tell them about that. And so when I think about life and unexpected misfortunes, I go right back to what the promises, that P word, that the Lord made to me. And I stand on those promises during my prayer time to help me get through. And sometimes it's easier said than done.
Cecily, recently, Chloe Zhao became the first woman of color, first Asian woman to earn Best Director Academy Awards. Your thoughts of her representation as a director, female, knocking down the glass ceiling, getting away from the sticky floor. Any reactions, thoughts to her accomplishment?
No, and I can't remember the movie that she won those awards for. What was it? Which one was it? Oh, Nomadland. Yes, that's what it was. And so because I watched the Oscars, and again, it was just a moment when you're like, finally, we're being recognized for all of our creativity, and it's just, it seems like you're a little bit, a little bit salty because you're like, it's taken this long for you guys to realize this, like, really? And so that's the part where like, we've always known we're dope. We've always known, but you're just now catching up to it, right? So it was a wonderful time, and especially quite recently, we've been watching the Olympics, right? We've had our first speed skater. Come on.
Absolutely.
It was amazing, and even strides with the U.S. soccer team. Think about that.
Yeah.
These women had to fight to get equal pay as their male counterparts. Are you kidding me?
Jess, you are right with the question in the chat room. It says U.S. women's soccer players recently reached a landmark agreement with the U.S. Sports American governing body to end a 6-year legal battle over equal pay, a deal in which they were promised $24 million plus bonuses that match those of the men. Do you think, Cecily, this type of success can happen soon in other industries such as broadcasting, acting, corporate America, professional basketball, etc.?
I'm hoping that sets the standard, because what that did was prove like, listen, time out, time's up, time out for you not treating us equally and we're doing just as good, if not exceeding the level of performance for our male counterparts. So when we think about the WNBA, when we think about our tennis, players, when we think about all the other athletic performances out there, yes. Now, do I think that's going to happen when we're thinking of the industries in broadcasting and others? Yes, I do. but I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I truly don't believe that. But what these ladies have done, that they've stood their ground and said, we are not settling for what you are giving us when we see what's being given to them not happening. Time out, time's up.
Time out, time's up. I love it. Just in addition to you doing your happy dance, what else do you do when women reach pinnacles like the ones we're talking about? Director, Academy Award, equal pay in soccer, Vice President of the United States. When that happens, when those instances occur, how do you feel? What do you do?
Yeah. Again, I am doing my happy dance. I'm like, yeah, get it, right? But then I'm also celebrating. I'm clapping and I'm saying, go sis, go. Because you're making a way for the ones coming behind us, for my little baby girl, for my granddaughter, for the other young girls that are coming up behind them and watching them as a role model, as an indication of, if they could do it, I can do it. So that's what that says. That's what I believe when I see each person shatter, break away another piece of that glass that told us that we're not good enough, we're not worthy enough, we can't do this, this is not our role, this is not our... What? Kick rocks. Kick rocks. You know, I'm driven by people who say, Cess, you can't do that. Those are like fighting words for me.
Ding, ding, ding. It's on, right?
It is on and popping. And I'm thinking, oh, really? Now, I may be bleeding and sore and cut, but there is no way that I'm going to quit and give up when someone says that I can't. I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to say, how you like me now?
How you like me now? Let's stay with this. Let's stay with. Tell us about a time when someone did tell you that you're not going to make it, you're not good enough. Let's bring someone else in. Tell us about one of those instances and walk us through specifically what you were thinking once they said it and what you did.
You know what? This literally just happened. I pitched an opportunity that I so deeply wanted to be on a stage in front of thousands of women that I knew that I could make a major, major impact, right? So I reached out to this particular CEO who was in charge of this event a year earlier. This happened last year. When I saw it, I'm like, oh, I could do that. Oh, I reached out, sent a message, said, hey, can we have, a quick time to chat? And had a conversation. And I gave him all the reasons why I would be the perfect person for the 2022 keynote speaker, right? Cultivated the relationship consistently throughout the year. As it got closer, because this event is coming up really around the corner. And as I got closer, sent another email. Hey, just letting you know, here's the reason why, this is, I'm, relatable. I've got a mission-driven story. I would definitely connect. Crickets. And it wasn't until just maybe 2 weeks ago that I saw the person they selected for that keynote position. Now, do I tell you how I really felt? I you know what? I was livid. No, let me say, not livid. I was disappointed that it was low key where they said, you're not the one we want. You're not good enough. You don't have name recognition. These are all the things that they're saying to me that I interpret it because based on what I know about this company, And based on what my story and the direct relationship that I have with its mission, I knew that I would knock it out the park. So what did I do? I did nothing, because my mother always said, the best revenge is success.
Whoa, whoa. High five, Mom. High five, Mom.
And so because my mouth usually gets me in trouble.
Hashtag duh.
My mouth usually gets me in trouble, and I can be a little reactionary. And especially when I feel like I've been insulted or challenged in a way. But the word of God says, a soft word turns away wrath.
Ooh.
And so sometimes, even though you know you are the best thing since sliced bread, someone sees that you're not. You're just a little crumb. Keep showing up. Keep doing you. Keep proving. And those who will recognize you will eventually come back around and say, hey, can we have you? Then you have the option. I love options. You have the option of saying yes or saying, no, playing. Keep it moving.
No player. If you're just joining us, we have Cecily Wilson. Cecily is the CEO of the Wow Legacy Group. She's a philanthropist. She's an author, best-selling author, TEDx speaker. She is, she's the bomb. She's the bomb. Cecily, I know you're doing a couple of things in your spare time. I'm going to put a few pictures up there and want you to speak to how you're making a difference as a professional, sharp, successful woman. Let's take a look at a couple. What's going on there? What's going on?
Oh, wow.
A little bit about the book, but I see a little P-word road trip. What was that about?
This was an amazing opportunity. Ford Motor Company is a partner with the nonprofit Wow Legacy and our Fall into Fabulous Empowerment program. And when I released the book in the middle of the pandemic, of course, we couldn't do face-to-face, person-to-person book signings. And so I literally pitched an idea to Ford Motor Company and said, hey, I know you have a footprint in 4 different cities in the state of Florida. And it just so happens I have connections in 4 of those different cities. How about we take a road trip in a Ford vehicle virtually and have an amazing time empowering our listeners, not just women, but men. And in fact, I think you came on the road trip a couple of times, right?
I was there, getting it in.
You were there. And it was so much fun. It was so engaging. It was impactful. It was meaningful. It was about empowerment, but we also had a mission on domestic violence. So we connected with those different agencies in each of the cities in Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Tampa, and Orlando. And then we also found survivors that were heart health survivors. So we connected with the American Heart Association in each of those cities. And so it was a party with a purpose.
Ain't no party like a Cecily party, because a Cecily party don't stop.
So that is what, and that is the power of partnership, right? That's the power of partnership. When someone like a Ford Motor Company sees the value in a little old P word like Cecily, this organization, we're small, we're growing, but we are making a major impact. And so that's what you're seeing right there with some of my posse members in the back. 2 of my best friends. I love them.
Wonderful. Ain't no stopping you now. How about what's going on with these slides? These pictures, looks like you're in action doing what you do.
Absolutely. So not only am I a keynote speaker and a journalist, when in 2004, when I lost my voice to a stroke on air, I vowed that, Lord, this is all I've ever done. I suck at math. I'm not good at singing, although I think I can.
Hold on. You went right through that stop sign. You said you lost your voice.
I lost my voice.
Air.
Yeah. That was a one of those times of pain that I had no control over. When I am doing what I love, what I've always known, what I went to college for, it was my dream job, to do that, to have it taken away unexpectedly because of a stroke, right? I mean, can you imagine you, Dr. James,
No.
not having the ability to speak? It's your livelihood.
Yes.
That's my livelihood. And so when I'm speaking now, I promised the Lord then, I says, Lord, if you just give me my voice back, I promise you, I'll be intentional with everything that I say and everything that I do. And I will help other people find their voice.
God,
And
if
so-
you give me my voice, I promise I will help others find their voice. Wow.
Yes. And that is what we do through Wild Legacy and our Fall into Fabulous Empowerment program. So that's the philanthropic side of me. But the professional side of me, I'm still freelancing as a journalist, right? So I still have the opportunity to be in front of our cameras and to share stories of individuals that bring power and inspiration to others. But just recently, I just started helping others, athletes, CEOs, C-suite executives, find their voice for media appearances, right? So they're always in front of the camera. And I've been asked many times, well, Cecily, can you help me speak better? I'm like, I don't know, right? Because I'm like, this is just comes naturally for me. But I realized that there are people who really are not good in front of the camera, and that me coaching them along, helping them to find their voice is beneficial, not just for me, but for them as well. And so again, it's a part of my promise, that P word, to the Lord, that if you give me my voice back, I promise I'll help someone else find theirs.
That is amazing. Amazing. And what a segue to the question that's in the chat room. The question is, Cecily, if you are speaking to a room of teenage females, what three keys would you say to them in order for them to be great and reach their potential in the world of gender inequality?
Yeah, absolutely. I love this because you know what? The babies are, I love pouring into them. And when I think about them and gender equality, my daughter, my youngest daughter, Nicole, is always gendered discriminated against. She came out as gay, and it was difficult for me to process that as a mother, but that is my baby, right? And I had to realize that this is who she is, and I'm going to love her, right? And I have to show, to the answer to the question is, when I think about I'm talking to the teenagers, three things that I tell them. No, trust the process. Trust the process, because we know life is going to not always go the way that you want it to. So you need to have a plan, right? When you have that plan, make sure that that plan is easy for you to agree to, that it's something that you can achieve, that it's not too daunting, because now you're committed to that plan. And don't have a plan B, because that plan B only sets you up for failure of plan A, right? So be consistent with that plan. You know, have a plan, trust the process. And number three, have a posse. Because here's the deal with the posse. The posse isn't just your boys, your girls, whoever that is. You have to be very, very specific about who you are letting to ride in the front seat of your car. Everybody is not your friend. You've got backstabbers. Everybody can't ride in the front seat. Some people can't even ride in the car, right? They've got to find their own ride. But the power of a posse are those individuals who are there to support you, to advocate for you when you're not even in the room. And they're saying, Dr. James is the man. Cecily is the man, or is the woman. Well, I'm a woman. All women. Let me just say that. All women. Every woman. But when you're thinking about your posse, who are those individuals there are going to encourage you to breathe life into you when it's slowly draining from your body? Those people that are going to be there when you can't even muster up enough space or strength to stand up on your own. That's what I'm saying, because no man or woman is an island. We all need someone to help us get to the next level. And so when I talk to my baby girls, though not just mine personally, because I call the youngins my baby girls, I'm Auntie Cess. They hear from Auntie Cess, and I'm telling it straight, no chaser to them. You can't go through life without a plan, baby. You got to have a plan, and you got to trust the process, because it doesn't always go the way that you want to. And you better make sure that you have somebody who has your back. Your posse needs to be strong. And not to mention the prayer. That's a fourth. That's a bonus.
Extra. Here's the extra.
That's a bonus. You got to have that prayer life.
Well, you're talking about pouring into the babies, your girls. What did you pour into this baby, this girl? We're going to show you a picture. I want you to tell us who she is and why she is so special, considering it's Women's History Month. Let's take a look at this superstar.
Oh, that's my Lena.
For the folks who don't know who Elena Wicker is, can you tell them who she is, what she's doing in the role you've played in her life?
Yes, her name is Elena Wicker, and she is my brown STEM girl. She is the youngest girl to attend college at Arizona State University. She's went on to have an internship at NASA, the first to ever do that. She is shattering the glass ceiling for brown girls who want to go into STEM. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. And when I tell you Elena is knocking out the park.
She's what, 12, 13?
She's now 13 now.
13 in college.
And finishing, and now she's about to go to med school. Okay. What? She is my real life Doogie Howser. And when I think about individuals like Elena, again, shattering, making history. She's a part of history. She was just on the cover of Essence magazine of STEM girls, STEM queens across the country, brown STEM girls across the country. And this 12-year-old girl, along with the other college girls who were on that cover of Essence magazine, was this 12-year-old. And at that time, she was 12. She's now 13. But Elena is doing the darn thing. You know what? In fact, I says, girl, I feel like a freaking loser to you. You're doing all of this. I'm like, what was I doing at 12? I was playing hopscotch.
Double dutch,
right? Look, that's what I was doing. But she is like thinking about making robots and going to the moon and doing amazing, life-changing things. That's, and to know that now she calls me Auntie Cess, you know, it's just, I love it. And she encourages me each and every day.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll share a few statistics with you. Like your thoughts after I share all three. Number one, women still only make 82 cents to a man's dollar. Number two, recently, NASDAQ has has shared and enforced the companies that trade, I think it's 3,000 plus, that they have to have a female director on their team to try to promote women in trading. And number three, there's been 65 women to go to space, 4 African-American women. How do those stats land on you?
Again, it's disappointing. I say it's good, but it's disappointing because how long have we been going to the moon?
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah.
And you only have 4?
4 Black women, and almost quadruple that women in general were 4 Black women. Yeah.
Yeah. And just that. And I've had the opportunity to interview 2 that have gone. And so
what was that like? Before you go on, what was that like, that interview, those interviews?
it was amazing just to be in the room with, oh, she's going to kill me. Black female went to the moon.
I believe their names are, let me find them.
Oh, she's going to kill me. She's going to kill me. And Elena would be, Auntie says, I can't believe you've forgotten her name.
Secily Wilson, Cian Proctor, and Joan Higginbotham. And the first one was May C.
Jamison.
Yes.
Thank you. Mae Jamison. That is who I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe. You know what? It's so funny because just the other day I was doing an interview and my black card is going to be revoked because I literally, and this is no joke, because I've had 2 strokes, I have a short-term memory loss. And there are things that I know like the back of my hand, but I can't think of it. And
Right.
so I'm doing this interview and we were talking about the scholarship. And I'm like, what's the name of that scholarship that gives to Black kids, right? And they're like, the United Negro College Fund? And I'm like, oh my God. My black card is going to be revoked.
We're taking it. We're taking it.
So just to clarify that I'm not forgetting these amazing organizations and these amazing women who are doing great things. But to answer the question, it lands on me with a little of a disappointment, but there's also that level of pride. But it's also it's like this roller coaster ride, because when you're thinking of, okay, they're being intentional about making space for women, but are they really being intentional? Because you don't have to look far to find greatness in women, no matter what color they are.
Right.
Because quite frankly, none of us would be here without us. That's pretty darn great, right? And so when I think about that, it's sadness, it's a prideful moment.
Sure.
But then there's one like, are you guys really working for a difference? Are you really doing that? Because we hope you are. And at the end of the day, it's going to make us all a better community, all a better community.
Sure. Cecily, you have done an awful lot, a great deal. You've been a lot of interviews. You've interviewed some phenomenal people. You've been on TV for a number of years. You've been the voice, the face. So you've won a pageant. Who have been your sheroes? You have people who, when you think of the women who made an impact on your life or an impact on society, any of your sheroes come to mind? Can you share a few of them with us?
Yeah, well, the number one is my mother, right? It's my mother, because I would not be here without her. So she is my shero completely. Even in mistakes of being a mommy, because there's no roadmap, there's no blueprint on being a mommy, and you make mistakes. I've made mistakes, and we've all made mistakes, but I've learned work ethic from my mother. I've learned integrity from my mother. I've learned how to pray from my mother. So those things are the core of who Cecily is. Now, professionally, my shero, and she doesn't know it, I've been trying to call her Oprah. I don't know where you are, because I've been telling you.
Oprah called Steph and then called me.
Right? Oprah has someone that I've looked to for years. When I started my career in broadcast TV, it was Oprah that I saw. In fact, I remember, I write about it in my book, University of Georgia. I'm attending the J school, the journalism school at UGA, and I'm in between classes. And my goal was to always be the first Black talk show host, right?
Oh, wow.
And I come in between class and I'm eating food in my room and I'm watching TV and I see this commercial and it said, watch the new Oprah Winfrey show. And I'm like, she's Black. Oh my God. A freaking meltdown, because she took my job. But I always say that I've watched her every step of the way, and what she's been able to do, no one has done before. And it's going to be hard to even try to duplicate that, right? But she is my shero in the industry of broadcast news and media. So I'm waiting for the opportunity, because I know it's going to happen. I don't know when, don't know where, don't know how. I've had the chance to interview her quickly in Tampa when I was in Tampa, but it wasn't one of those moments where she would say, "Oh yeah, I remember you." I need her to remember my name. Hey, girl. Hey.
You talking about what she did is hard to duplicate. I'm going to show you a video of you in action with a few women. I think this is going to be hard to duplicate as well. Let's check out this video and talk to us afterwards about what went into this and what do you foresee the future being for this particular group. Let's take a look.
Oh.
Thank you all for making it out here to our 9th annual Fall into Fabulous Luncheon and Fashion Show.
The amazing women that you will see here today are truly women overcoming with willpower.
The ladies that come through this program, their dreams matter. It makes me feel really proud and just excited to continue to be a part of this.
It is so heartwarming to see women enjoy being poured into and then understand that they're going to go and pour into other people to help pay that forward. And that is such a beautiful thing that Fall into Fabulous does.
It made me feel special, like a queen. Then I take away moving forward with some of the resources that were provided to me, the contacts, the skills that were given to us. I want to take this and continue to propel myself.
It has given me knowledge. The sisterhood is beyond amazing.
9 years, it has given them a purpose for their life. The business part of this has helped them to get jobs, to reach goals, to be entrepreneurs.
They walked into Fall into Fabulous and never looked back.
Today I stand before you today as a woman who is fine, fierce, and fabulous.
I watch them grow. Years later, I see them come and join and they share their stories of empowerment.
Finishing my bachelor's degree in media communications, and that's how I fall into Fabulous.
They are amazing. They have come so far. They need to just keep moving forward, onward and upward.
Knowing their story, it empowers me personally. Never give up. No matter what it is, never give up.
No matter what it is, no matter what it is, never give up. Talk to us, Cess. What's going on there?
Oh my gosh, I get emotional when I see that. That's my baby, right? To know that I have the honor to share a little bit of their lives to help them hit the reset button. And that's what Fall into Fabulous is all about. You know, when life falls apart for us, it's hard sometimes to get back up. It's hard for us we're in a state of paralysis and we feel like we can or we're not worthy enough. And so part of my intentionality and the promise that I made to the Lord again is to help them find their voice. And that's what I do. And so with that program, you see each and every day, I feel like the fairy godmother when my board and the volunteers and the donors that all pour into them. Elise said it best. We pour into them from Walmart. We pour into them and then they come back and they pour into another woman. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And so that's what Fall into Fabulous is all about. Wipe away the tears, put the big girl panties on and put on your stilettos and fall into fabulous, whatever fabulous looks like to you. And it's less of this superficial because that all fades away. That's irrelevant. But what's fabulous is when you decide to end a toxic relationship, when you decide to start your business, when you decide to go back to school, when you decide to say, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I am doing something different. That is fabulous.
Yes. So I'm gonna go a little deeper on you with this one. Because I find in my life, I believe, oftentimes we, whoever the group is, we hold each other back. Certainly that's not what you're doing, but what can women do to help other women climb whatever mountain there is? And what do you believe women do to hinder that climb? So what helps and what hinders? Yeah.
So what we need to do is celebrate. We're not competing. we have so much competition with other people.
Yeah.
We are stronger together. I promise you, when women get together, it is an explosion ready to happen. And so I think if we would celebrate, even when you feel like, okay, and I do this consistently, someone gets a job that I've been waiting for, that it may not be the job that I wanted, but I see them excelling in places and doing things. And I'm like, well, what about me? What about me? The fastest way into depression is to compare, yourself with others. So instead of comparing and competing, celebrate, because what that means is if it's happening for her, it's one day, one step, one moment closer to it happening to me. Because if it happens to her, I can do it too. And it can happen to me. So I think that's what we do. That's what we can do to kind of help. And once you get there, don't be the only one in the room.
Ooh.
If you're the only one in the room, pull up a seat next to you so that someone else can sit right next to you. So that adds the power. So, it's not like, it's like you're the only Black female in the office of white women and men. That ain't a proud moment. Yeah. Bring somebody else with you, or pave the way for someone else who looks like you, or the same gender as you, or who has the same dynamic skills as you, so they have an opportunity. Don't just say, oh, well, you got to get your own. I'm sorry.
I'm in.
No. So I think, and that on the same token, I think hinders us as well, because we're holding on to it. I can't let it go. No. This world is huge. There's so many opportunities out here for every single last one of us. And if we embrace it, it would be like a intricately woven quilt. Ooh. Every piece of a quilt has different pieces of tapestry, right? But then at the end, you have this beautiful piece of art that can cover you completely, but they all look different. That's who we are. Yes, that's what we need to do.
Yes, thank you. You've mentioned several times how proud you are of your culture, your race, your gender. And doing my research, I came across a couple photos with some quotes. And I want, after I show them and read them, I want you to speak to them even greater. So let's take a look. I'll show one, I'll read it, then I'll show the other. Let's take a look. It says, I am a Black woman, phenomenally overcoming every adversity thrown at me. Like Michael Jordan, standing tall, I shoot my shot and net them all. Yes, I am Black history. I still rise, creating the wow factor with tears in my eyes. Let me go to the next one and then speak to both of them. This one says, this is good stuff. The #1 killer of Black women is stroke and heart disease. Can you speak to those two?
Absolutely. I was sleeping and I woke up in the middle of the night and those words of the first photo came to me. And I'm not a poet. I'm not a lyricist. I'm not a rapper. I don't spit rhymes or I don't do any of that, right? But it came to me like, I am a Black woman phenomenally because I love Maya Angelou. Overcoming every adversity because there's been so many adversities, one after the other. And like Michael Jordan, you shoot your shot. If you don't shoot your shot, you miss every shot. But if you shoot it and you net it, hey, that's good. And so that's what I've been able to do. So I stand tall. And sometimes when I'm standing, there are tears in my eyes. So I'm creating that wow factor, which is an acronym for Women Overcoming with Willpower, because that's exactly what it takes for each and every one of us to overcome any adversity, anything. We need that willpower. And so you do it even when there's pain, even with a bruise, you keep limping and you keep moving on. Because if you do not quit, you cannot be defeated. I love saying that. And when I think about the second one, we are the #1 target for heart disease and stroke. How do I know that? Because I am one. I had that red cape. I dismissed all the signs, the symptoms and everything. But I need people to know, women especially, Black women and Hispanic women. I don't know why it affects us even more, than all the other women out there. But for us, I'm listening to you. I'm talking to you. Know your signs, know your numbers, and get to the hospital if anything. There's an acronym in the American Heart Association, FAST. Facial drooping, arm weakness, can't hold it up, slurred speech, time to call 911 because time loss is brain loss. So get to the hospital. Don't say, yeah, it's nothing. No, you never know. So get to the hospital. So that acronym is FAST, facial drooping, arm weakness, slurred speech, time to call 911. Know your ABCs, know your numbers. What you don't know could kill you. It almost killed me.
Wow. Seth, I know you are super busy virtually and in person. If someone's watching this right now and they want to bring you in to come speak to their group, speak to their women's resource group, speak to their company, bring you in to do some coaching, how can they reach you? What's the best way to reach you?
On my website, thececilywilson.com. That's THE, CecilyWilson.com. And I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter as the Cecily Wilson. And I've just entered into the world of TikTok.
TikTok. Cecily's doing TikTok. What?
I'm doing TikTok. My daughters are like, Mommy, can you get off TikTok, please? Get off of TikTok. I'm like, no, I love it. But I would be honored to come and speak to any group, any women's organization, to bring empower words of wisdom, whether that is overcoming adversity or whether that is speaking and helping you to train media training to speak well in front of the camera, to speak in sound bites. That's important. You've got to be able to speak in sound bites, but still deliver your facts. So any of that is available right there by calling me, or they can just reach out to you and say, hey, I got the number. I'll call her up for you.
We want her in. We want her in. If you want to preview what she does, go to the website, her social media, her YouTube page. You can even check out that TED Talk. If you want to see her in action, she is fabulous. Cecily, what's next for you as you move into the rest of your 2022? What's next? What's on the horizon?
I don't know. I'm living in the moment right now. I don't know what's next. I'm going to stay open to what's next and to whatever, the possibility, that P word, possibilities are endless. And so just savor the moment. You know, I have a hard time of just staying in the moment before I'm on to the next thing. So
she's not lying. She's not. No, we want you to be in the moment now. You know how we end the show. We ask our guests to give us a mini keynote.
Let's go. I don't even know. I know. Go. Let's go.
So look in, lean in, close up. You have 60 seconds. Mini keynote. The next voice you hear will be Cecily Wilson. Mic check, mic check. Cec, talk to us.
Think about surviving. You survived the pandemic. You survived that catastrophic accident. You survived. Just because you survived, that means you are now obligated to help somebody else. There's a reason why you survived whatever that is. Now you have a blueprint, a map to guide someone else through that process. So don't take your survival for granted. Don't take your survival as just like, oh, I'm lucky. I got that one. No, know that you have a responsibility to save somebody else. You are a survivor.
Love it. Mic drop, mic drop, mic drop. Cecily Wilson, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your words. Thank you for your wisdom, your honesty, your vulnerability. Thank you for your smile and your laughter and your truth. And thank you for helping kick off our celebration of Women's History Month. We will see you soon, trust me. And for those of you who are watching, we did it again. I told you, informational, transformational. We're not playing. We're here for you. And like I always said, you've just been Gym-packed. Take care.